What is going on, guys? Johnny on the track, back with another new video here. My voice sounds pretty good today. So, knock on wood, I've had some issues with my voice, sinuses the past 2 months. So, it feels good that the voice is solid today. We've got a fun one. We've got the Bristol night race to cap off the round of 16. Some fairly decent names below the cut line. Alex Bowman, Hendrick Motorsports driver, SVG, now below the cut line. Austin Dillon and Josh Berry also fighting to get back over that cut line and advance to the round of 12. But should be a good one. Bristol night race, even when the short track package for the next gen car hasn't been great, I do feel like often the night race is still great to watch. It's still a fun watch. Potential tire or new tire that could potentially bring some chaos, which we'll get into. I think that could provide a new angle on Saturday night's race. But overall, I'm excited. I love the Bristol night race. I always have. One that I need to get to at one point. But should be a solid race in my opinion, especially if that tire, which again I'll talk about, is going to play a big factor. Before we get into the bets, let's talk about two things. Number one, main priority, New Hampshire Motor Speedway. New Hampshire Motor Speedway next Sunday. What would it be? The 21st now, sorry, September 21st. NASCAR goes up to New England for the only Cup Series race of the year in beautiful Loudon, New Hampshire. You can get your tickets now. Come on, get your tickets. I will be there. Plenty of big names. I think I'm just saying that, but I feel confident that they'll be there. Ricky Craven is now the honorary pace car driver. But get your tickets, New England fans. We need you. Pack the stands. We have to pack the stands for the New England Cup race. It's a playoff race. First time in a long time that NASCAR is hosting a playoff race. They already announced that next year it's not going to be a playoff race. It'll go back to a regular season race. So let's have some fun. Let's go watch some playoff racing for the round of 12, getting closer and closer to crowning a champion. You need to be there. If you're a New England race fan, get your butt, get your behind up to Loudon, New Hampshire for the Cup Series race at the Magic Mile. I will be there, so I will see you there. Down in the description below, you're going to click that link. You're going to buy some tickets, and we'll have a good time. So there it is, New Hampshire Motor Speedway. I hope to see you Sunday, September 21st for some afternoon Cup Series racing. Other thing, Slice Seltzer, as you guys know, has been a continued partner of this show, which, I'm just a big fan of in general because they are a Rhode Island-based company. I am a Rhode Island-based guy. This is a Rhode Island-based production, and Slice continues to sponsor us and sponsor this. Based out of Westerly, Rhode Island, they've got the White Peach Vodka Soda, 4.5% alcohol, only 100 calories, only 3 grams of carbs, only 2 grams of sugar. It is vodka with real juice, sparkling water, and natural flavors. Savor life with a slice. That's SLYCE. Visit them at SLYCE. Seltzer.com, sliceseltzer.com to learn more. Okay, let's get into the betting side of things. So I mentioned that new tire. It's going to be a brand new right side tire that supposedly has major excessive wear. Denny Hamlin talked about it on Action Detrimental this week that this thing, they're talking about that this thing could be crazy. Now, we always got to, look at that with a grain of salt because I think a lot of people thought earlier this year we would see more tire wear than we did. We didn't see a lot of tire wear, but, they're putting this tire out to get asses in the seats. So they better deliver because, the one thing that we've seen that can save the short tracks is tire wear, is tire strategy, is saving your stuff, utilizing, a late run with speed by saving your tires. If that's the case, then I think we have to bet this, a different way than just taking statistics of what we've seen this season, what we saw earlier at Bristol, in utilizing that data. I think it has to go hand in hand. So, again, new tire, very aggressive wear. The spring race was dominated by Kyle Larson, but I will say Larson has been off. He has been off. He had a terrible mistake to wipe out Blaney. Yeah, he led laps. Yeah, he had a decent car, but still, I really never thought at any point that Kyle Larson was winning this race because he just hasn't been in form pretty much till, since the spring. So overall, I do think this is going to be JGR and Hendrick. I think the big dogs will come to play, but that tire could make things very, very interesting. So my main advice to you all would be to wait. I would probably only place a couple of outrights early on, meaning right now, meaning right after you watch this show, you place these bets. But I think a lot of what I will do will come later on via at JOTT underscore podcast on X and Johnny on the track on Action Network. Because we just don't know. We just don't know. And a lot of these factors are going to be decided by what this tire is going to show us. That's the bottom line. Obviously, the track is going to be different than what we saw in the spring. This is a night race. It's going to be cooler. Obviously. So just a lot of different factors than what we saw in the spring. And I think the tire is obviously the main priority of what we need to figure out. But I do like Alex Bowman to win outright. He was really, really, really good here in the spring prior to an issue. Had a fast car, scored a lot of stage points, had a great average running position, and then unfortunately didn't get the finish he deserved. But, with his back up against the wall, which it is, I mean, he is a lot of points out, essentially a must win. I think Bowman can find a way to just run well and be there with a chance at the end of things. And for a guy in a Hendrick Motorsports Chevrolet that is going to Bristol and will be, I want to get the number right, I think it's 22 to 1, but these things change all the time. 20 to 1 on Rhode Island Sportsbook. Let's take a look at DraftKings Sportsbook and where they have Alex Bowman. I feel like it's 22 to 1. Feel like it's 22 to 1, 25 to 1. So obviously a better number if you shop around, 25 to 1, that being DraftKings. Also, and then if you go back, right? So the data we would have from an extreme tire wear race would be last year's spring race for Bristol, who was really good, who finished top five. Alex Bowman finished top five there as well. Bowman was also solid at Richmond, another short track. Obviously, that's flat, so not a great comparison. But Hendrick at the short track, the short tracks in general are always fast. So to me, Alex Bowman, definitely a guy you got to take a flyer on with it being a Hendrick car back against the wall. Got to advance to the round of 12 because that will look bad if Alex Bowman is out this first round, a guy that was a top 10 guy for most of this year. I don't think he can afford that really for his career, even though he's signed through next year. I mean, that would be a bad look. So Alex Bowman outright to win, 25 to 1 on DraftKings is my first one. I talked about Kyle Larson leading 940, or sorry, being really good here, leading a lot of laps in the spring. He's actually led exactly 946 laps here in the next gen era. That puts him almost 600 laps above the next guy, which would be Christopher Bell, who's led 359. And the interesting thing, it goes Larson, a Chevy, and then or a Hendrick Chevy more specifically, and then Bell, Hamlin, Gibbs, JGR, JGR, JGR. So, and then you can throw Truex in that mix, who's also top 10. I just throw that out there because he is in the night, or Briscoe is in the 19 car, and obviously Truex, was usually pretty fast in the next gen era at Bristol. So, again, it goes Larson 1 and then JGR, JGR, JGR. So I look at these numbers and I say to myself, what do we feel like is probably better to place at this moment? Or if we're like comparing those up against each other, Larson is plus 275 to win. Plus 275. And he has not been good in a while, guys. Like in a long, long time. So he hasn't won a race since uh like May, I'm pretty sure. Like that was the last time he was like just really, really good. Now, reckon he did have a solid car last weekend, but I never thought he was going to win. He made a really bad racing mistake, and it was pretty rough. So I would rather at this point place Toyota to win because I think they have more upside with Briscoe and how informed he's been, with Denny Hamlin, who how informed he has been this season, searching for win number 60, great at conserving his stuff if there is tire wear. And a guy that has won two races in the next gen era at Bristol out of only five. Larson's got two, Denny's got two, Busher has got the other one. So Toyota would be the more I think the better value bet than to place just outright on Larson. But I wouldn't be opposed to taking Larson at some point this weekend. I just can't take him now. I do think overall we're going to probably see a shift in the numbers. Larson would be a guy that I would probably recommend more live betting. Maybe he has a slow up on pit road. He's plus 265 on DraftKings. So that would be my advice on Larson, but I would give out right now Toyota to win, and then Christopher Bell plus 750. Two of the three Joe Gibbs Racing playoff drivers have won a race. Bell is the only guy that hasn't. It started with Briscoe, then it went to Hamlin. Bell, I mentioned, has led the second most laps here at Bristol in the next gen era. How cool would it be if Toyota sweeps the first round, especially all with the same team? Hamlin, Briscoe, and now Bell. I like Bell for an outright at plus 750, especially with the fiery kind of, back and forth he had with his crew chief. They're going to reassess their strategy and probably pit a little bit earlier or pit at what they feel like might be the more appropriate time. So Bell outright is a bet I really, really like. And then the last thing I'll say at this moment in time, at this specific moment in time, is that if you feel like we have excessive tire wear, we're going to see excessive tire wear, we're going to see a strategy, split race where you're going to try different things, see who can run long. In that case, I will go with the veterans. I will find a guy like Hamlin, a guy like Brad Keselowski, Kyle Busch, Joey Logano, guys that have been around the sport for a while that know what these races take, the tendencies, the style, the feeling, when to do something where other guys might say, let's wait. These guys have the veteran experience, the veteran mindset to win a race like Bristol on Saturday night. So if you feel like, hey, I'm seeing excessive wear, I'm gonna guess that we're gonna get that in the race as well. I would place some outrights on guys like Kyle Busch, on Brad Keselowski, maybe even Busher, who has won here and seems to be one of those guys that can conserve his stuff. Those guys are gonna be interesting characters because we saw that race last year, and you know those were the guys. It was one, two, three. It was Hamlin, Truex, and Brad Keselowski. Those were the best guys. The guys that have seen this before, know how to get it done, know how to conserve their stuff. So to me, if that's how this race is going to be, I'm looking at guys like Kyle Busch, Brad Keselowski, Denny Hamlin, Joey Logano, that sort of cup of tea, if you will. So all in all, not a ton to give out at this moment, but you know where to find it. It's Johnny on the Track on Action Network. It's at JOTT_podcast on X for the final card. Excited for this weekend's Bristol race. Once again, if you did watch all the way through, I appreciate it. Hit that subscribe button for more motorsports content. Hit that like button. It goes a long way for the channel. Comment who you want to see, who you're betting on in the comment section down below. And please go down in the description. Click that link, buy your tickets for New Hampshire, and I will see you next Sunday. Thanks for watching, and let's go win some money.